Now, about the blue economy concept, I said this government of India is putting a lot of thrust on blue economy, and this is evident from the sentence of our Honorable Prime Minister. To quote him, he said to me, the blue chakra or wheel in India's national flag represents the potential of blue revolution or the ocean economy. That's how important ocean economy is to us. This is what he said. And consistent with this statement, there have been a lot of policy documents rolled out by Government of India over the last 1 or 2 years. These documents, the key documents, are the draft policy framework on India's blue economy, prepared by the Economic Advisory Council to the Prime Minister and was released or opened up for discussions in September last year, 2020. And the policy on Sagar Mala and maritime clusters by the Ministry of Shipping, which started in 2015 at an estimated cost of 8.5 trillion rupees. Then the Pradhana Mantri Matsya Sampada Yojana, PMMSY, to be implemented from this year, 2020-21 to 24-25 at an estimated cost of rupees 20,000 crores. Then we have the deep sea mission to be implemented by the Ministry of Earth Sciences and ISRO at a cost of rupees 4,000 crores. And lastly, we have the National Fishery Policy of 2020 of the Ministry of Fisheries, all focusing on the need for a blue economy and for sustainable use of resources. Blue economy, in a simple terms, is an economy based on oceans and ocean-related activities. There are several activities pertaining to the blue economy, starting from the shipping, ocean energy, ocean mining, fishery, bioprospecting, tourism, and service and maintenance sector. These are the key components of a blue economy regime. The details of the shipping sector has been documented in the Sagarmala documents. Ocean energy is a major activity India is focusing on, about which Dr. Modail also said. But in addition, the focus will be technological development for gas hydrate extraction, because India has got huge potential of gas hydrates, which is considered to be the future energy of the world. But then the extractive technology is challenging and R&D efforts are going on. Ocean mining is, India is a pioneer investor in deep sea mining. Yesterday, Dr. Srinivas Kumar also said India has got rights to use about 75,000 square kilometer area within the Central Indian Ocean basin. So a lot of activities are going on in this sector. And the other one is service and maintenance sector is a key important. Shipbuilding, ship repairing, transport, water transport, tourism. A lot of things are associated with the service and maintenance sector. I am saved of time because Dr. Mohan Joseph has explained the jurisdictional rights of states over those waters, which was defined by UNCLOS in 1982 and vetted or ratified by countries in 1994. We have the territorial sea, which is 12 nautical miles. 1 nautical mile is 1.854 kilometers, over which we have sovereign rights. The contiguous seas extending up to 24 nautical miles, the exclusive economic zone up to 200 nautical miles. And then the important thing is the legal continental shelf and our continental shelf. These are legal continental shelf is something which we need to claim and get it from the authorities concerned, for which a lot of surveys need to be undertaken, the swarthometric surveys, to establish that the additional shelf area which we are claiming should have at least 1% of sediment deposits as compared to the distance from the continental slope to that particular area. This is as per the UNCLOS definitions. So India has done a lot of work in this, and we have claimed a huge amount of area on the west coast and is in the process of claiming a similar area along the east coast. This is the situation, and the red lines, the white border along the peninsular India represents the territorial waters. The red one represent the shelf waters, and the black dots represent our EEZ. And those two striped areas on the west coast and east coast represent the CLS areas, legal continental shelf areas. Now we come to the next part of the presentation, which talks about the fishery governance, the strategic and technological challenges. We have heard from several of our distinguished speakers yesterday the key requirements for governing the fishery sector under a blue economy regime. The first and foremost is that there are conflicting uses of the resources. Say, for example, the shipping sector is going to be heavy. There will be heavy coastal traffic. This can lead to a lot of underwater noise pollution, which can affect the life history stages of most of our fishes. So nothing much is known about these things, and a lot of R&D is required in this aspect also. Now, ecosystem-based fishery management, the need for this was in fact stressed yesterday by Dr. Vivekanandan in his plenary address. And as we all know, the fishing in the territorial waters is a state subject governed by the MFRAs, Marine Fishery Regulations, or Regulation Act. Whereas the fishing outside the territorial waters, that is fishing within the Indian EEZ, excluding the territorial waters, is a union subject for which there is no acts or regulations available at present, and Government of India is in the process of developing one such act or regulation. The process has started. In this backdrop, one of the recommendations of the National Fishery Policy of 2020 is worth exploring. What they suggested is that, which proposes this NFP 2020 proposes to delegate powers authorizing coastal states to issue licenses to fish in the EEZ and high seas. This need to be really rechecked. The reason for this will definitely deter the concept of ecosystem management and lead to unwanted political interventions, which is not good for the governance of the fishery on an ecosystem basis. Instead, we should plan a three-tier fishery governance policy wherein management of the fishery in the territorial waters may be retained by the by the coastal states and governed using the instrument, the rules and regulations available under the Marine Fishery Regulatory Acts of the state government. And beyond the 12 nautical miles, the management or the governance of the fishery should be given to a regional board comprising of members of the concerned coastal states sharing an ecosystem. So an ecosystem management needs to be stressed rather than giving licenses for the states to issue licenses, etc., etc. Here again, only semi-commercial type of fishing should be encouraged. As we heard from Dr. Paul yesterday, there is a need to support this. Similarly, the fishing in the high seas and open oceans, this need to be, the license for this need to be issued by perhaps by the Ministry of Fisheries, as most of these vessels operating in these waters will be flagships, Indian flagships, and the responsibility of monitoring and controlling and managing these vessels lies with the Government of India. Now, so the Ministry of Fisheries can issue licenses for such things, and except the fishing, distant water fishing in the perhaps in the Antarctic waters, where this will be issued by the Indian Antarctic Authority, which will be established most probably this year, because this is lying with the cabinet. And once it is approved, the authority will be established. And this authority, in consultation with the Commission for Conservation of Antarctic Marine Living Resources, will manage the fishery of the Southern Ocean. Now, few issues, the ecosystem-based fishery management, though it is suggested here, we are yet in a confusion as to what constitute the real ecosystems in India. Say, for example, I will just show you 2-3 slides wherein this is a slide prepared using 10 to 15 years of data collected from Fishery Oceanographic Research Vessel Saga Sambada, prepared by the CMLR Kochi. Herein, we have put the northeastern Arabian Sea as an ecosystem which extends from the 17-degree north to 23.5-degree north. Similarly, the Southeast Arabian Sea ecosystem, we have put from 14-degree north to 6-degree north. The in-between zone is a transition zone or an ecotone. We assume that way, and a lot of work needs to be done to perfect this. Similarly, on the East Coast, we have the Southwest Bay of Bengal, Northwest Bay of Bengal, and surrounding the Andaman, we have another ecosystem. And here, in this approach, we have put the Lakshadweep Sea ecosystem as a part of the Southeast Arabian Sea ecosystem, which I think is not right. Another version which has been adopted by the working group on the potential yield estimation is they have the northwest region, northwest ecosystem, they have put it from 15-degree northwards. The southwest ecosystem, 15 degrees south north to almost 5 degrees southwards. And this has the advantage of extending it to the Park Bay, which is a right approach. The southeast region going up to the 19-degree north, which is again good. Northeast region, which is the last part of it. Now, another thing is we need to define the ecosystems as discrete physical, chemical, and biological entities before we start thinking of managing the resources thereof. It's very, very important. Now, this approach is states that in this another approach, the Northeast Arabian Sea ecosystem is considered to be from 16 degree, which is not right. It is from 17 degree because it is well established to physical oceanography approaches. The Southeast Arabian Sea definitely is starting from 14 degree, but here the attractive thing is that the way the Southeast Arabian Sea is extending till Kollam, it stops there. The Lakshadweep Sea ecosystem goes up to the Park Bay. Here also the Southwest Bay of Bengal extends up to 19 degrees, up to Visakhapatnam, and north of that is the Northwest Bay of Bengal. So still we have a lot of confusions with regard to the demarcation of our ecosystems. So this is to be taken up seriously. A lot of R&D and surveys are required to establish a well-documented ecosystem concept. Once we think of establish these ecosystems, we need to have what is the permitted total allowable catch within an ecosystem. That's another important thing about which we need to start thinking. Dr. Vivekanandan in his speech yesterday said that there are most of the around 22% of the fish is of the fish stocks are overfished. I don't remember that. Some amount is some 60% or so is optimally fished, and 12% is underfished. So while we plan for a total allowable catch, perhaps the focus can be given to those fishes which are, or those stocks which are overfished, and we should put a total allowable catch on these fishes, because this is being practiced elsewhere in the world with good results. And exploitation of additional resources is another key thing which we need to look into. Here, already the working group on potential yield estimate of 2018 has worked out the potential yield of Indian is said to be around 5.31 million tons, of which 4.92 million tons are from the shelf waters up to 200 meter depth. Outside the shelf, the resource is estimated to be very, very low, 0.1 million tons. The oceanic resources are estimated to be around 0.23 million tons, and the two island ecosystems, other than its oceanic resources, contributes to about 0.06 million tons, the total of which works out to 5.31 million tons. So this is the potential against which the average annual yield of late stands at around 3.7 million tons. Now, additional resources available for exploitation are the oceanic tunas within the Indian EEZ, which is around 0.1 million tons, and similar quantity of oceanic tunas can be caught from outside the Indian East, at another 0.1 million tons can be caught, because many countries are really exploiting the tuna resources. And I understand that Sri Lanka has major plans to invest on tuna fishing, and they will be fishing just on the western side of our Indian East. The mesopelagic myctophytes is the working group decided to put value of 1 million ton, which I still have my own doubts, though I was a part of this validation exercise, because our estimates about the myctophyte resources within the Indian EEZ is around 8.9 million tons. So it is a conservative estimate which is given by the working group. And again, we know that the US Govt had estimated around 100 million tons of myctophytes within the entire Arabian Sea, of which was later reworked as 45 million tons. So the estimate of 8.95 million tons undertaken by our CMNRE, I think, is more appropriate, and the 1 million projected in our document is an underestimate. Oceanic skids is thought to provide around 0.63 million tons, and this again is based on the quantifications done in and around Lakshadweep on the purple back flying squids. But then we know that these squids are available along the southeastern Arabian Sea and offshore of the northeastern Arabian Sea. It is available, and a lot of illegal fishing is going on. We are not catching it. Somebody else is catching and taking it away. So this is an underestimate, 0.63, because it pertains to only the Lakshadweep part. Similarly, the edible jellyfish is 0.2 million tons. Marine algae, again, 0.2 million tons. This is the type of estimates given. Then another important aspect in all these things is that of late there is a shift in the traditional fishing grounds, maybe perhaps due to climate change, and this needs a continuous monitoring. The traditional fishing grounds are shifting. They are no more at the same place. There is a small scale shift in that. A lot of countries are doing R&D on those things, about which we also need to do something. Then another important thing, we have an excessive fleet which needs to be redeployed, perhaps by reconfiguring and making it more automative. These things yesterday Dr. Vivekanandan had discussed. Then another important thing is the monitoring, control, and surveillance. Most of the regulatory mechanisms available with us, with the Indian fishery, are not followed, as we have a lack of a robust MCS. Illegal, unregulated, unreported fishing in Indian EEZ and adjoining open oceans are rampant. As we expand our fishery to deep sea and distant water, it becomes mandatory for us to have a well-established MCS. The Gagan and the Navik, which are being developed indigenously by India, perhaps may not serve the entire purpose of a VMS, the cell monitoring system, because these two systems are one-way communication systems, and we require a two-way communication system to have effective monitoring of the fishing activities, which has Then the PFCs and the sea state advisories. PFCs are a product of invoice. The second one again is a product of invoice. Both these products are giving very good results. Yesterday, Dr. Srinivas Kumar explained on this. The PFC said how it is generated, how it is disseminated, etc. was told. But the requirement here is slightly different. The PFCs are more generalized, and we need to make it more species specific. I was so happy to note that Dr. Srinivas Kumar said that they have developed species specific advisories for tunas, and he has plans to integrate fish habitats to improve the PFCs, which is very, very good approach. Some modeling efforts to be done so that the PFCs will serve a greater purpose. Similarly, the sea advisories are very good, robust, dependable, but it will do a lot of good if those advisories are made vessel specific. This is because a lot of fishing days are lost due to these generalized advisories. We had a meeting at Kochi last month wherein the Boat Owners Association, the president was telling that during the last fishing year, they could fish only 49 days and all other days were lost because of Corona or due to the closed fishing seasons or due to these advisories. So we need to look into these advisories and improve it slightly so that the people will be more benefited. Another important thing is sector-wise trawl ban, which again needs to be considered. And in fact, this finds a place in the National Fishery Policy document of 2020. I understand that they have already constituted a group to look into this. This is very, very important because I can tell you one thing. The brood stocks aggregate at different places during different time periods because most of the breeding or spawning season in fishes along the southwest is dependent on the northward progression of the upwelling process. Now, we all know that the upwelling is not homogeneous throughout the west coast. It starts appearing at the Trivandrum coast somewhere between April and May and continues that process. And the next segment is from Kollam to Kasaragod to Mangalore. It's another sector where the upwelling process starts slightly later from 15th of May to the end of June, the upwelling continues. And the northern sector from Mangalore to Goa is a place where the present ban period can be introduced. That is the 15th of June to the end of July. Same is true in the case of the East Coast, where the existing ban is from 15th of April to the end of May. So we need to look into providing more dependable monsoon ban advisories. This is something. The concept of storage and transport system, I am exceeding by 5 minutes, I'm sorry. Concept of storage and transport vessels is something which we need to look into at least at a pilot scale, because the critical problems faced by fishermen, we had a lot of discussions with those people in the recent past, are the increasing fuel price, the loss of fishing days, low CPUEs, looting by the so-called middle men, market fluctuations, microfinances. These are all serious issues faced by them. So what can be a practical solution to this? This is a concept which is slightly emerging, slowly emerging. What is the point? Why, if we put a platform in the sea where the fishermen can come and dispose their catches, and this platform is controlled and licensed by those regional fishery boards, wherein the price of varieties and size class of fish is predetermined, so the fishermen get better prices. So this is slowly emerging, and this should be tried at least on a pilot scale, so that the fishermen get more income. And furthermore, this can encourage multi-day fishing, because the provisions, the basic provisions required for multi-day fishing can be provided by these platforms. Also, they can give medical aid at times of emergency. And there are a lot of other challenges in the fishery sector about which the time do not permit me to go through. And I just end my talk with one statement made by our father of the nation, Mahatma Gandhi. He said that the world has enough for everyone's need, but not enough for everyone's greed. So I think we should continue with our sustenance fishery and promote a semi-commercial fishing. Thank you so much.